Good evening, my dear friends. Good evening. Um, it's so good to see you. Tonight, we have a really special class. We always have a special class, but tonight I'm kind of excited about this. We got some really nifty stuff going on. Let's start with a meditation, shall we? So I'd like for you all to just, if you will, get into a comfortable position, which means the bottom of your back up against the back of the chair, maybe your feet flat on the floor, your hands in whatever position you put them when you meditate, so that if you do that regularly, then neurologically, when your hands come together like that, it sends a message through your body that says, we're meditating now, and your body goes, oh, okay, and it goes into meditation for you. So try to always put your hands pretty much in the same position and relax. I'm going to turn my lights off here so that I'm in a little bit more of a darkness. And what I'd like for you to do is breathe in, either through your mouth or your nose. I prefer my nose. Hold that breath for like 2 or 3, 4 seconds. And then when you let it go, just let your body fall into relaxation. Just fall into relaxation. Just sort of drift downward. And hold that, then let that breath be out for a little while. And then when you breathe back in, then do the same thing. Hold your breath. Then when you breathe out, just let your body totally relax. Let that breath fall away. Let yourself fall away. So each breath in, hold it. Let it go. Let your body relax and just fall away. Just fall away. Fall away. And as you do, allow yourself to be spirit, pure spirit. Let your mind be still, observing your breath, but not thinking about it, just observing it. And now you're expanding outside your body. And as you inhale, you're inhaling the space of the entire room around you. That space is grace. It's not empty. And as you expand, you are now the full room filled with the grace of this space. You continue to expand, and now you're larger than the building. And the entire building, which is only empty space, is inside you as your creation. You're continuing to expand. And as you expand, you're now moving upward into the night sky, through the rainy clouds, and up above them, where way over there you can see the crescent moon and the soft and beautiful light of that moon laying like snow across the tops of the clouds. And you are expanded. And all of this is inside you. drifting now upward or really outward away from planet Earth into the galaxy until finally you see that incredibly beautiful marble that we call planet Earth, resting though so beautifully in the midnight sky. And all around you, stars and galaxies and all of that inside of you. And as you breathe in, you're breathing in the breath of God. And as you breathe out, you're breathing out your blessing into God, into Holy Spirit, into the entirety of this universe, which is all inside of you. You've expanded to the degree that all is inside of you, and you are one with Holy Spirit. You and Holy Spirit are one. And here in the tranquility of this beautiful space, you know that you are loved, blessed, safe, free. You're drifting in complete innocence, like a swan on still water. All of the beauty around you, the stars and the galaxies, all of that is you. Everything is connected. You are one with the universe. You are one with God. You are safe. You are completely well. You are completely well. You are love. You are joy. And you are peace. Breathing in and breathing out the magical grace of eternity. your breath exchanging with the breath of Holy Spirit as one being in pure joy. You're drifting now, drifting through the universe. All of it belongs to you. You belong to all of it. There is only one being. And that is Holy Spirit. In other words, there is only one being. That is you. I'm going to be still and just let you drift, breathing gently in and out the pure love that is the presence of God and the presence of the universe as you. It's time now to come back to the group, but I'd like for you, when you come, to bring with you this self, this beautiful person that you are, this beautiful spiritual soul that you are. Thank you, my friends. I shower you with love and with joy tonight. Thank you for being here. We're going to have a wonderful night. The purpose or purposes of the wisdom codes are actually to protect us. When we read this section, it was about protection. They're there to protect us from our subconscious fears, because our subconscious fears take us off of the path, take us off of the spiritual track, and put us into a place of being lost and confused and banging around in the woods, banging into trees and not knowing what we're doing. And in order to stay true to ourselves and in true spiritual integrity and focus, we need to be able to stay ahead of our fears. And the wisdom codes are there for that. And all of the subconscious fears, incidentally, are not just from our past. I mean, we got a lot of them, most of them from our past, from things that we've experienced or feared, or stories we've heard, or the wars, or like there's a lot of us in my generation that, at least down here in the States, that spent our young school years doing drills where you duck under your desk to hide from the nuclear bombs that are being dropped. Of course, no nuclear bombs were dropped, but we always, when that bell went off, we always knew that it could be. We never knew whether it was a drill. So we grew up with that. And a dear friend of mine, John Mason, who's a very deep spiritual guy, and I were standing down in Fairhaven, which is in the southern part of Bellingham, and we were talking about something. And normally John and I would never talk about anything negative, but at this point we were discussing some things that had happened that were pretty negative and pretty fearful and pretty bad. And both of us had gotten kind of got into that. And the electrical transformer behind us, about 30 feet away, exploded. Now, I'm not saying that it was because of what we were feeling or thinking, but John's a pretty powerful spiritual guy, and I'm relatively in that category too. And that transformer exploded, and it was like a bomb. It was enormous, bam, and shrapnel flew everywhere, burning bits flew everywhere. And I ducked down beside a car and I said, "It's an atomic bomb." And John, younger than me, looked down at me and he said, "Bob, nobody's going to drop an atomic bomb on Bellingham." I felt kind of like a fool, but what I realized is that old fear still lurks inside of me somewhere. So we're guided to some degree by those fears. The wisdom codes are there to dispel those fears and to bring us back into alignment with the beautiful, powerful, spiritual beings that we are. They're positive affirmations of life, are they not? Page 27, first paragraph. They're talking about the Lord's Prayer here. It says, "Thy will be done." In this context, the phrase "thy will" is referring to the stated parameters that God has identified in previous teachings, such as the 8 Beatitudes specified in Jesus's teachings, known as the Sermon on the Mount. And here it is. Once again, the word "thy" is not asking, but is declaring that God's will is already present in all things and experiences. So these are positive affirmations. These wisdom codes, ancient wisdom codes, they're positive affirmations, and they're passed down through the centuries, not only from people that we know about or that we've read about, but from people that we know nothing about, back through our ancestral lineage. Buddha, in Buddha, the saying is commitment to a greater state of awareness within us. That's the wisdom code. It's that we are committed to a greater state of awareness within us. What does that mean, greater state of awareness? I mean, we're doing exploding transformers and traffic and falling asleep at the wheel and television shows and bills coming that we didn't expect. And, oh my goodness, what'll I do now? And hearing that somebody's ill. I mean, all of that stuff's going on, but we need to be committed to a greater state of awareness within us. In Buddhism is a thing called Dharma. And Dharma is the shifting of our consciousness, the shifting of our awareness from the chaotic world around us to the world of harmony, to the harmony of nature. That's what we were doing in the meditation. We'd shift ourselves out of the chaotic world into the harmony of nature. That's Dharma. Sadhu, another part of Buddhism, spend time with enlightened beings. We all have people in our lives who are not so enlightened, and some of them are a little bit, pardon my saying so, a little bit parasitic. They're a little bit like parasites. They kind of drag the energy out of you. You know what I'm talking about. and you love them and they're wonderful people and they just aren't there yet. So you kind of have to put up with them, but you need to spend time with enlightened beings. You need to spend time with beings that are perhaps a little farther up the mountain than you are, because they'll pull you up with them. If you only spend time with people who are not quite as enlightened as you, then they pull you back down with them. And you know that to be true. So there's a mantra called the Gayatri mantra. And let me just get that for you. That also, that's something worth reading. On page 38, it's the last page in that chapter. Brahma, the manifestation of spiritual energy, destroyer of sufferings, embodiment of happiness, bright like the sun, destroyer of sins, divine, intellect who may inspire. Wow, so powerful. These are the wisdom codes passed down through generations and generations, not so people will find a way to worship or salute the divine or say their beads, but so that they will hear a word from the divine that reaches inside of them and uplifts them and reminds them we're only here for a little while, the snap of the fingers, clap of the hands, tiny, tiny bit of time. Oh yeah, it might be it's 100 years or maybe it's 120 years. Those of us who are older can tell you how short it is because we look back over our lives and we say, oh my God, seems like a week. Yeah, tons happened, but it goes by so fast. So we have to be focused on not our breakfast and getting gas for the car and paying our bills. And we have to be focused. Let all of that be what it is. That's just part of our life and it's beautiful and it's divine and within itself. But really what we're asking here is, where are we going? Where are we going? Bright like the sun, destroyer of sins, divine. That's the consciousness that's reaching out to us. When we were in the meditation and we were out in the cosmos, out hanging among the galaxies, when we were out there, we were in that place, bright like the sun, destroyer of sins, divine intellect who may inspire. Enlightened beings all around us, shifting our awareness from the chaotic world to the harmony of nature, committed to a greater state of awareness within us. Those are the wisdom codes. So now we come to tonight. I asked you last week to find a word, and I wanted you to get a word during the week. Go into your consciousness, into your higher consciousness, go into your soul, go into the divine, and find a word not that describes you or defines you. That's not what we're looking for. No, not a word that defines you or describes you. A word that is you. Shirley found hers. It found her. Flowing. I can tell you my word, I was kind of surprised because I didn't know what would come up. And you know, I've done these processes for 50 years, but I've not done this exact process. And this is so exciting to me because by the end of our 6 weeks, we will have 6 words that are the wisdom codes of us each individually and uniquely. And that wisdom codes, those 6 words will follow you not only through your life, but through eternity. They describe, they internalize, they embody what, who, and how you are as an eternal spiritual being. Now, when you get off track, now when a best friend dies or some tragedy happens or when whatever happens, now you have these 6 weeks, these 6 words that bring you back to your power center. So we started with our word for this week. And my word is searching. That's my word. Here's the deal. See, I'm doing the same thing you're doing. And so I got it, I had a lot of words. At one point I had 5 words, 5 great words. Didn't take me long to eliminate 4. And the 5th didn't stand up very long either. And then they were all gone. And then I was searching for truth. What's the truth? What's the truth about me as a unique individual? What's my nature? What's your nature? And I recognized that throughout my entire life, from the time I was a small child, a little boy, I have been searching. And I'm still searching. And my whole life is searching. So that's my first word. So my question is, what is your word? You're now going to go into the breakout rooms. And your question is going to be, what is my word this week? And maybe you have it. Maybe it'll come your turn to share and you'll say, well, my word is XYZ. But that word can't describe you. And if you haven't really found the exact word, don't be upset with yourself. Don't say, well, I was supposed to find my word this week and I didn't get it may take more longer than that. It may take longer than that. It's okay. This is a process that will change the rest of your life. It's not something that you can just pick out and grab and say, oh, well, my word is love. I am love. I mean, that's real easy. I am love. That's real simple. And maybe that is your word. But what does it mean? How does it describe you? How is that your nature? Be willing to talk about that. When you say, this is my word, then be willing to talk about how and why it's your word. And the rest of you in that small group, in that breakout group, listen with your hearts. Listen. And if you have a question for the person who says, this is my word, ask the question, clarifying questions to help them be sure that this is their word. And if you say, this is my word is love. If that's what you say, and people ask you questions and then you start saying, maybe it's more than that. Maybe it's deeper than that. Maybe it's what love signal. I'm not sure. Then be willing to say, all right, I'm going to let it go for now and look deeper this next week. So be just absolutely honest. We've been working together for months, my dears, for months. This is not a time to rush it. You've come to this place, to this plateau on your spiritual journey. Don't rush it. Be sure of your word. So here you go into your breakout rooms. Thank you.